what society is now is that we all think that we can only just have one identity. And I struggle for this in my transformation in corporate landscape and in these worlds over to coaching. 'Cause I was like, ooh, I got to show up with a certain demeanour. I got to have a shirt and tie. I got to speak a certain way. I got to go to these events. I'm swimming in rivers. I'm doing Wim Hof breathing. I'm meditating. I'm bringing my future. And I'm like, come on, this is the opposite end of the spectrum.
Different. Yeah.
But then when I looked, I mean, you can have multiple, and that's the definition of identities. It's masks.
Yeah.
If you look at the Latin definition of identities.
Welcome to the Tackle Your Thoughts podcast, the podcast where we attempt to tackle the stigma surrounding mental health. So, without any more delay, here's the boys.
Okay, welcome to our latest episode of the Tackle Your Thoughts podcast. I'm quite excited by today's one. We've got a lovely guest in called Andrew. He's our local life coach. So, welcome, And.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about you, even though we've known each other for a while, and also learning more about what you do and what kind of services you can provide. So, like we do with every other guest, let's start from the start. Tell us a bit more about you, tell us about your upbringing, and anything you really want to go into, and then we'll pick certain points that we'll talk about.
Absolutely, guys. Yeah, indeed. Just a stereotypical Valley's guide, to be honest. I think, my earliest memory, if I'm honest, just getting by, that is the conventional wisdom. That is the norm. Do your best, do well in school, be respectful, and just build relationships. And, I done very well on that. I think some life events early on for me, like mum and dad separated. At the time, I didn't think really had that much impact on me. And that's only over the recent years, really, that has unfolded. But, I mean, lucky, fortunate, I had solid mum and dad, a brother as well. And that was my earliest memory. And just loved school, loved people, and love understanding and getting to know people. And started my sporting career fairly young as well. Played sport, played rugby. And that was just a natural progression, just always had that hunger and that ambition to keep going and keep doing as well as I could
Keep pushing.
Yeah, indeed, in sport, and rugby was that for me.
Yeah.
And it was my voice in terms of validation for me, because certainly an introvert.
Yeah.
Certainly, in terms of, and not that outgoing. So that was me for sport until obviously secondary school. Done well there, done my GCSEs, got my qualifications, stayed on. Didn't know what the hell to do, like none of us do, I think, at that age.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And I mean, that's a missing piece in our society.
Yeah, we can't ask that question at 16.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. My daughter's going through the same thing now, and I'm like, as long as you can be respectful, you can build relationships, and you can be liked.
Yeah.
Just you
follow your heart.
Don't
Be yourself.
Indeed. Don't put a grade next to, in terms of that paper, that GCSE, that A level. That doesn't define
nothing.
you.
No,
but at the time, when we were there, I'm sure we feel
it
you
does.
guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. And it's when you're in your head with that, it's like so much internal pressure.
Yeah.
And you don't perform the best because then you're living in stress and you can't perform or get results from a stress state.
Yeah.
So
it's very difficult, yeah.
It is. So that, and then that led me into just usually wanted to earn money.
Yeah.
And then I just got, I come out to school with it.
Yeah,
I come out to school with an engineering qualification, believe it or not. And I thought, right, where do I go from here? And my cousin got me a job in a local pension company in Cardiff. And to be honest with you, it was just a case of let's get in there, let's get me against meet. And I just grew.
Get by.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got as far as I could. Not literal, but I mean, in terms of the qualifications and just progression, I always had that hunger for getting on.
Yeah.
I was relatable. I am a people person.
Yeah.
And just use that to my advantage.
Yeah.
I've done that in sport.
Yeah.
And I played at semi-pro, level, you're either pro or you're not, in my opinion. But I got as far as I wanted to go. I always have self-evaluated and thought, do I want to make that switch? And then I thought, will the enjoyment still there? Will it be on my
certain
terms?
sacrifices to be able to,
Is it still a hobby? If you turn professional?
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed, it is. And I was clever enough to catch that at the time. I'm not saying, I was ever, it was my choice. Well, do I be pro or not? There's obviously other things that come into play there. But so, and then it was just progression in career, corporate world, and in rugby served me very well. I've only finished the last 5 years, finished when I was just after 35, finished playing locally, but like I say, played semi-pro for about 12 years. So that served me. I learned a lot.
Yeah. When
I look back and join the dots.
I think rugby's a really good teacher. There's definitely elements of it that, like you talk about respect, to talk about,
Indeed.
how you behave and discipline and being able to, you know, go to war with people on the pitch and then shake hands after and have a beer and things like that. There's definitely lessons to be learned from rugby.
Massively.
Yeah.
But it's just like anything. When you're in that reality at the time, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
You
100%.
put so much stress on yourself. I was always worried sick before, even training. I'd be on my own driving to the grounds and I'd be like overthinking things, analysing again in that stress state that you can't perform in. I was just saying on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Never really tapped that much potential and took action because I was always in my own head. I was always more worried about what other people were thinking of me.
Right.
And I see that as a perfect metaphor for people now in life.
Yeah, 100%.
Too much, we're too concentrated on people out there. What
Yeah.
are they going to... And no one gives a shit. No one cares.
No, they don't.
Nobody really cares. They got enough going on. They got enough noise here anyway.
Yeah.
So I was that person, and growing up, I had a she won't mind me saying, my mother, she tendency for OCD, very obsessive and compulsive, and as a child, first 7 years you're a sponge because you're in a certain brainwave pattern. You're just taking everything in, and I was acting out my mother. I picked up a lot of her traits, and that showed up. A lot of positives there, mine, because it arrived me who I am today. So I don't knock that in any way. I put meaning on that was great. But I think the early years for me then, in terms of early 20s, I was anxious about health.
Okay.
And fear of losing control.
Okay.
Like that sense of certainty where, disease is an age thing. And I can always remember, actually, one of my earliest memories, a funny story I always tell, is that I can remember sitting in my house at the time on a Sunday night, bath night before school, like absolutely all fresh, smelling lovely, cheese onion, crisp sandwiches, cut in squares. I think it was Boone on the TV. I don't remember Boone. And I would just zone out and I would think about, and I know it's a morbid subject, well, it's not morbid now, but at the time it was, because, death isn't really the opposite to birth. It is integral and it's part of it. But at the time I couldn't accept that. I was thinking, what after the end of our days? It's not 2 weeks, it's not 2 months, it's not 2 years, it's not 20 years.
Yeah.
It's forever. I'll never see my tribe again. I'll see my mother, father.
Every day of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And that freaked me out, and I'd zone out, but I kept that to myself for years. That compounded over time, and I think that had a lot to do with the qualities that showed up in my life.
Right.
Like I say, being an introvert as well, keeping them close to my chest. So as time went on, like I said, I just done the best I could until really I got leverage on myself, and it came a time, and I always refer to it as my year of wake up back in 2015, where a few close mates fell unwell, and my dad as well. And my dad had, he had a chronic disease, and at the time I was thinking, I don't like this. You're seeing it everywhere now.
Yeah.
Like, just the news, the media reporting stuff. It's actually coming closer to home, and I didn't like that.
You're scared a little bit.
Yeah, it was exactly that, and I think now that I'm a coach, a lot of people come to you for your services for coaching, and they want you to do the lifting for them sometimes, and and I feel for people like that, because I was like that.
Yeah,
it was like everything outside of me is going to validate me, and it's gonna. But for change, it's decision. You've got to have that disciplined, and you've got to have life either slap you across the face, or you can create that leverage by what I say, caving your walls in and creating that leverage to think, okay, well, if I take myself 10 years out, if I stay the same, I don't like that.
Yeah, are you happy with that or not, sort of thing? Yeah.
Indeed. So for me, it was that, and where I was in the corporate landscape at the time, I thought, do you know what? What is this all about? I just felt like as if it was this hamster wheel. And I know it's touted out there. There's this term now is, the hamster wheel, but it was a great metaphor for life. And I was just thinking, it's so, sort of sausage factory driven. And I thought, there's more out there. And that year then for me was, right, okay, let's find out, helping Dad with him and what he was going through. I just needed to understand who we are, why we do what we do. Yeah. So the psychology aspect, as well as, the mechanics and understanding our daily actions, even down to the core of nutrition. So I went off on a rampage pilgrimage, and I just went off and I just learned. I just turned my car into
You became being a sponge. You turned into a sponge at 25 or 35
Absolutely.
years old.
Through an event where I had that leverage in 2015 that I knew something had to change.
Was there a moment? Sorry to interrupt. Then was it a moment? Was it like can you remember like vividly what happened, or was it just like over the last year or two you come to realization?
It was my life from year dot. Like I said, that event back on a Sunday evening, eating that cheese and onion crisp sandwich.
That was the moment.
I know. I don't remember the squares. It was quite tasty.
I like Worcester sauce crisp sandwich.
What's the sauce crisp sandwiches?
Don't try that.
No.
It's a bit spicy.
Is it? Yeah. Maybe on cheese on toast, but that's about it.
Brilliant. Yeah, on cheese on top. So it wasn't like a granular moment that I could put my finger on and say,
Okay.
that was it. It
Yeah.
was an accumulation that compounding over years
Yeah.
with the, you know, the just constantly doing of things
Yeah.
and going after and chasing the carrot. And,
Yeah.
you know, another analogy I use in coaching is chasing the rabbit. You're the ground on the track and you're constantly going for it. And even when you get it, your brain goes, what's next?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's
burnout. So
human
that comes
nature,
from me
yeah.
really. I'm fortunate. Like I was 20, you know, I was fairly young catching that.
Yeah,
So it wasn't a moment. I think it was an accumulation of things to arrive me at
Yeah.
at that year. And yeah, I, to be honest with you, I'm blessed for it. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for that because, you know, a 2-degree shift and I just went on now and I'm in a totally different destination as if I went there. Because if that, you know, went even more intense into different levels, you know, I think that's what we see in terms of domesticated culture now. That's why
Yeah.
people lose meaning of life.
That's the normal almost. People default to that, yeah.
I do, and yeah, you're right. So for me, I was fortunate, and like I said, badgy with that meaning. And I've just, to be honest with you, they've just become a student of life now. I mean, I've got such a hunger and desire to learn because there's so much success that I always say somebody can write a book that, you know, 2 decades worth of their life and you can read it in 4 hours.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's magic for me.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Up until like 2017, I'd only ever read business related material.
Right.
So to go out in life then and understand how the brain works, why we do what we do.
Yeah. That should come first, shouldn't it? Before almost anything else, like to understand, yes, like I said earlier on, we were talking about being self-aware. I mean, like self-aware of yourself.
Yeah,
To be able to be self-aware, you can then direct your life in exactly how you feel you should or you need to, which suits you and your character traits and everything. So, yeah.
And I like you say that because that's what when I talk about the program in earlier years. I mean, we've got a program which we run out 95% of our day.
Okay.
And like a lot of us are living yesterdays
It's
today.
just default, yeah.
We are. It's only ever 5% of your space. Are you conscious? Are you awake? Like, you know, if I said you put in your jeans on this morning, you can remember which leg you put in first. You don't. You say driving sometimes at different venues.
Yeah.
How the hell did I drive here?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that if you look at it, that happens across so many years. It happens in business.
For
It
60,
happens in your
70
relationships.
years,
When was the last time, you know, that I was really conscious with my partner? So it really is that habitual program and that I liked because I thought, well, actually, it's not just set it and forget it. There's so much more we can do. We can rewire, we can reprogram ourselves. We can end up. There is no limit, and that mindset shift for me.
Yeah.
Back, 2015 really to 20. It was to 2019, and then we was away in Spain with my family in a villa, and I just had an epiphany. That light bulb moment is the old cliche, but I did. I had a sense of clarity. I entered a part of flow. We was there. I could see it now vivid, by the side of the pool, and I thought, all what I've learned now this last 5 years and what I'm seeing in my reality, the outside world, I need to help. I need to serve, give back, be a guide and a mentor, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Because it's criminal if nobody has that knowledge, and that's not me just impressing people, it's impressing upon them that it is capable, it's possible.
It's almost important, yeah. It's like to be able to have that, openness, and you have that so much understanding and self-awareness to be able to feed that back to people is such a, I don't know, it's a huge positive. So many people can take so much from it. So yeah, it's really
I
interesting.
love the way you just said the word help. You didn't think of being a life coach for a career or anything like that. I'm guessing you just want to help people.
Yeah.
To be their best, is it? Or
It is, yeah, through, and like you said, we again, what Josh just said there, then looking at your program and you go through schooling and all that, you're just living out other people's expectation of you rather than taking control of your destiny, thinking, well, this is what I want.
Yeah.
What's my core values? What am I going toward, or what am I moving away from? But we don't do that work. And if we did that in school, I think we'd see a different landscape, but we don't. But you're right, it's about helping. I mean, the spiritual need to grow and contribute, that equals fulfillment, and that's what I don't see is, certainly in men that I work with, they don't know what they want or why they want it for a start. So that is crazy because he's like a sat nav without a checkered flag. Don't know where you're going.
Factory line, yeah.
It is, and I mean,
keep on driving.
I know it is, and I feel for people like that because I was that person until I had my life event and I turned things around.
What do you think caused that like life event or that moment or that sort of accumulation? Was it, I don't know, maybe it's a question I've already asked, but how can people realize that? How can people get to that? Because I understand it. I think I'm, part of the way down the road that you're on from 2015, but I want everybody to be able to see and realize that moment or that, Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm talking
it's
waffle
a
a bit.
brilliant question, because
Yeah.
so you can't infect that
No.
on anyone, because when I talk about the program, we sleep awake.
Yeah.
We're hypnotized into living, and like
Yeah.
I say, we're living on somebody else's expectation, whether that's our parents, social
Society.
circle, our friends, society, where we are here in the valleys. I was part of that. I still am, still part of me. But it's about identity there. But I think, to be honest, with you, a scary place for anyone is what I call no man's land, in that you're not unhappy and you're neither happy.
Yeah.
And you haven't got
Just
leverage
cruising.
then. Yeah. And that's what I see in terms of, again, you know, our corporate structure is get feral, because feral, if you look up the definition, is escape domestication.
Yeah.
It's escape captivity. It's free yourself.
Yeah.
It's not about wildcats, because that's, if you look at it, a lot of people said that I was up in the mountains with my shoes off,
Wrestling,
grounded,
huh?
eating raw meat. It's not about that. It's an element of that.
Yeah.
But it's getting feral in nutrition, in the way we train, the way we recover, sleep. We don't even sleep well. And
Yeah.
it's about how we go about things and getting results in business, in our personal life, even in our relationships.
Definitely.
Step off and step away from the domestication.
Yeah.
Plan. It's a completely new destination for you.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. I think that's probably why I connected, because like I come from, like, my background is like geology, so like human history and things is integral to what I learned, and just understanding that humans have existed and thrived, I guess, for millions of years doing the same things, and now over the last 100 years we've changed everything up. Like, we work in factory lines, the foods we eat, you know, the people we talk, we fly, we stare at screens, like all those sorts of things. It's so different to what we've done for so long.
Yeah, that's all within 100 years.
Within 100 years, which is like a 0.01% of human history.
Indeed, guys, and you're right. You know, you're clever enough to pull that and identify it. But you're right, because I think the world has changed more since 1992 than it ever has.
Yeah.
And when you look at that, it's like, well, where is it heading? And I think we're in a classic unhappiness formula for me is expectation versus reality, because we've got such high standards for expectation because of social media, because of what we're seeing all around us. And it's, we try and aspire then to just match and keep up, but it's like, really, it's not even real. That's not reality. Somebody's always got that struggle, but that expectation, which is baked into us through our own rules, values and beliefs, which we've carried since we were born, left the womb. And what actually happens out there in the outside world. Now, to get change and ensure that you strike happiness, I always use the analogy of like a slot machine. You chuck the coin in and it goes dink, 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 and you get a match. It's jackpot, great, because that is your expectation matches your reality or your outside world.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, like, if I ask you now, what area of life are you happy about? You can bet, if it's your body, that it's because you expect yourself to train a certain way, to look a certain way. And because you're executing on that, it's showing up in reality as a match. But unhappiness is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And it's where, that those cogs, they spin, but they don't match. It's unhappiness because, and it's an hard one in today's domesticated trap and state, because, man, it's click and collect world. We can order something today and have it tonight. I can remember my dad buying me a bike when we was living in Bargoed, and we had to wait 4 weeks for it to come up from Cardiff on a train.
Yeah.
And we missed 2 trains because of it.
And then 2 weeks for Dad to put it together.
Didn't work properly.
But it was something about that.
Yeah.
I was saying now, I done a video last week about a coconut.
Yeah.
And I was just at a moment, because I just think we try and do too many things at once as well. I mean, we can
I'm killer for that.
multitask. People say we can multitask. Of course we can. Human beings are incredibly capable, but we can't multi-focus. And an act of mindfulness is being in the current moment.
Focus, yeah.
So I was cracking a corner and I was thinking, I wasn't worried about half hour ago or the next hour. I was present. And there's something spiritual and magical that happens with that.
Well, that, like, just thinking about that, as you said, that led me into thinking about what we've had conversations with on the podcast before about the depression and anxiety. When we spoke with the counsellor, he was saying that, being in that present moment prevents, thinking about the future, having anxiety about the future, and prevents thinking about the past and bad things that happen. So it's so important to have that, like, grounding and that focus on the present moment to stop, mental health issues arising, as well as a million other things. It's really interesting.
Do you know what it is? And I mean, if you can just do, like, the concept, people get confused between meditation and mindfulness.
Yeah.
And there is a difference, because a lot of people just merge the two. And
Okay.
meditation really is, a lot of people think that if they have a thought, they've messed it up, they can't do it. And it is hard at the start. It's like anything. It's like, doing a back squat. It's going to be difficult at first until you get the reps in over time, and you're going to get the result. But meditation, it's like waves on the beach. That wave is a metaphor for a thought. You need a thought. You need, like, resistance on a barbell in a gym.
Yeah, of
you
course.
need the thought to come, but you don't stay with it
Right.
for 10 minutes in meditation and actually obsess around that and think, well, why is this happening? Well, you've just got to thank it
Yeah.
and let it retreat. And that's all guests at a dinner party. If you're hosting a dinner party, guests coming in, instead of just staying with one guest, you've got 100 to get around.
Yeah.
Do the reps and just see them on to the next. And if you can use that in meditation, and it's great, you don't have to fold up like a pretzel, you can just curl down, get in the corner.
Yeah, get comfortable.
And take yourself offline, is to use my language, is like online stuff, offline stuff. But mindfulness, the art, of being in the because there is no future.
There's no such thing.
There is no such thing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And the past you can never change. You can reframe it. You can do cognitive reframes in your mind.
Yeah.
Visualization exercise to make it better.
Okay.
And when we talk about therapy, therapy's beautiful, but it can take a long time to get to the end result. And the end result is only accepting and putting a different meaning on your experience.
Yeah. Really interesting.
So I'm just going to wind it back a bit now. You're talking about 2019. Is that when you made a leap then and gone balls to it? I'm going to go and help other people by going full time as a life coach?
Yes, good question actually, because a lot of people still ask me now, am I a full-time life coach? I am a full-time life coach, but it's not the only thing I do.
Yeah.
I've got 2 other businesses as well.
Yeah.
Because in that corporate world where I started off earning money, cut my teeth, and got so much gratitude for that world, I was fortunate enough to be successful in businesses and then go off and create new businesses with a business partner. So I operate in those worlds, but what I do now is the identity I wear is I help no matter I'm wearing my financial services hat or whether I'm showing up in health and life.
Okay.
I'm just, just that shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Basically getting that result.
Yeah.
So we spoke earlier about certain courses and primal.
Yes.
Tell us what you've done altogether, like kind of qualification wise, and to get to the stage you are now.
To be honest with you, it's a beautiful question, because I think in the game I'm in now with health, life coaching, mentoring, guiding, I think you can't just learn and then think you're free. Like in financial services, you've got CPD, continuing professional development. You've got to keep upskilling. Yeah. And you've got to become a student of life with health and life. So I think the learning will always be there.
Has to be.
But in terms of, validation, certification, the Primal Health Coach Institution over in America, run by a guy called Mark Sisson. He's known as the keto guy, the primal guy. Just strips life back to the bare roots, like going back to evolution a couple of million years ago, and just took you on a journey. And it makes so much sense. The curriculum is honestly, it's fantastic, and it just basically highlights. If fast forward into year 2022 now, and it's like, well, yeah, we did take a fork in the road many years ago, and it's perhaps not the best road to have gone down, but just stripping it back. So in terms of nutrition, and again, my opinion is our nutrition, it can be simplified. I think our big pharma and our food industries now are highly manipulated, really. So I think for financial reasons, and I just think I don't like that, because hence with my health anxiety, I just thought, well, statistics, 1 in 10 having a chronic disease, now 1 in 2. Yeah. Where is that coming from?
Yeah.
Because
why has that changed?
And so quickly as well.
Indeed. And like you say, one of you guys said earlier about the last 100 years, everything has changed. Well, the introduction of, I had to bang the drum about vegetable oils, because, linoleic acid now, we overconsume it. It's in nuts. We need it. It's life critical. It's a fatty acid. Yeah. But that's the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. If that's skewed, which in modern society now is like 22 to 1, so 22 parts omega-6 to 1 omega-3. Right. A lot of people say, well, just up your omega-3. But that's not really, in my personal opinion, a good strategy. You want to lower omega-6, which if you cut out vegetable oils, but you'll have a good job and a difficult job doing that, because if you eat out of a box, package or wrapper, you will find it in there, because it just... It's cheap, it stabilizes, it keeps food for
fresh
longer. Indeed, and people cook with it, and when you expose that stuff to light heat and oxygen, it oxidizes. We are thermogenic beings. We eat there, it further oxidizes. So that is a massive, to be honest, a contributor, which you can see since the early 1900s has snuck its way in to our food society, and is criminal.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier when you said since 1992. So much has changed. Yeah. 30 years.
That's when I was born.
For the next 30 years now, what else is going to change?
I know.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Indeed.
And again, it's a fork in the road. It can either go a good way or a bad way. And it can either be 1 in 2 got a chronic disease, or every person will have a chronic disease, or it goes back up to 1 in 10. Yeah. I'm guessing...
I think it's on us to make that decision and like consciously make it as well, rather than just being like, just go like we said about factory workers. Literally 100 years ago, industrial revolution started.
Yep.
People had to go to work to live, to survive, to be able to afford houses and whatever else. They couldn't go out fucking picking fruit and farming in their own gardens, really.
Exactly.
So that industrial revolution has forced us into becoming the humans we are, and now we're at a point where there's enough, the internet provides enough education and everything for us to be able to go and take the bull by the horns and choose ourselves. So I think it'd be a big turning point. Maybe a 50-50 split, it might be 70-30 or whatever, but some people are going to go and choose the right way to go, and some people will choose the wrong way to go.
And maybe this kind of nicely comes on to life coaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that where you help steer people? Because actually, let's dial it back. Tell us what is a life coach, and does a life coach have all the answers to fucking everything? Yes, people come to you and say, "I need a life coach. You need to fix this for me."
It's a good question. I think it's a very broad label, a life coach. You're right. But just to go back quickly on what Josh was saying there, I think you're right, and you were pointing out it. I think in order to, it just starts with us. It starts with you.
Yeah.
If you want to, whatever effect or change you want to see in the world, it starts with you. Mother Teresa said a beautiful quote years ago. She said there was either an anti-war campaign or a pro-peace, and she said, look, pro-peace all day, but she said, if you want to change the world, just go home and love your family.
Yeah.
And I love that quote because I thought it's simple.
Yeah.
And like, there's so much noise out there in the landscape now. We're drowning in information and starving for wisdom. It's just it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it does sometimes come to me, but I mean, staying in your lane, and like you say, I just think they talk about artificial intelligence, the way that is going in the next 30, 40 years, we might not even have jobs. We may not even, be required as a human species, which, to be honest with you, I think you're right. It starts
scary.
now, but I think humans will always need humans, and I think if we can just educate around that, and we've got more power within us, with all what's gone on these last couple of years, pandemic, it was not, not that we want to go down that road today, but it was all about it's all outside, and you've got to do certain things in order to affect change, and we've got way more control than we believe. But back to your question, the life coach, it is broad, and specifically for me, I just, I help people that want a result, but one of my mantras is live long, live well, and arrive in style. So it's you want longevity, you want to live long, and I coach around that result, closing a gap, as I like to see it. So not chasing rabbits, but I don't coach around long-term goals. Where do we want to be in 30 years? What legacy? There's a little bit of that, I suppose. But it's about just who you need to become. So if I'm coaching someone one-on-one, it's about, stripping back what I touched on yesterday, the core values, because not a lot of people know what it is they want, why they want it, which are two massive
Huge questions.
Absolutely. And if you can do the work on that, you're not going to get it overnight. And it might change over time.
Yeah.
But your values as well, because your values reveals your blueprint and who you are.
Yeah.
Because you've got conflicting values, then certainly in relationships, certainly in business relationships, you can see why. Because businesses don't fail, people do. And I coach around the 6 human needs again, which is the other school that I graduated out of, is the Medanis Robbins training in strategic interventions. So it's the Tony Robbins school, and it coaches around the 6 human needs. And I think, again, looking at your belief systems, your rules, your values with the needs, it's a nice little mix to actually reveal who it is you are, what's in there, what's not serving you, pull it out. Is it limiting you, or is it empowering you? If it's limiting you, let's work around that. Pull it out, reframe, put what it is you want in you, know what you want, why you want it, and move in life with your values. And I'm oversimplifying there, obviously that's work. But
Definitely.
that's what I coach around. So life coach could be anything, because I mean it is broad, and it could be like just a specific relationship coach or something like that. But it's about who you are. You've got to struggle. You've got, you're not achieving. You're not fulfilled. Well, let's meet you where you are. And let's go on a journey.
My mind keeps going back to when I asked a question earlier on about like how people figure that stuff out, and it sort of came back to being self-aware. You seem to help people find how to be self-aware. It's kind of like, it's that cog in the chain that helps people break that factory line or whatever they're in that they're struggling with, and find their, like you said, their true.
Do you know what, guys? You're right. It's beautiful, because what I hear you say there, whatever any of us here in this room, in this country, on the globe, is a feeling. We're only ever after emotions, human beings. But if you can be that, what you wish to to be, or
Yeah.
seek or find,
Yeah.
and you can operate at that vibration, then what we do and what we have flows from that.
Yeah.
But our domesticated model is we do things first,
Yeah.
and then we have,
Second.
and then we put our being at the end, our emotion, our feeling.
So that's
It's like,
backwards.
yeah, in the corporate world, you know, you get that significance
Yeah.
or that confidence at the end.
Yeah.
You've got to do all this trudgery
Together,
for decades. But if you bring that being at the front, which again is what I coach around, and you embody that,
Yeah.
then when we talk about life coaching, it's not all about action steps and strategy. Strategy will get you a result,
Yeah.
but it's hard work and it can take time.
Okay.
But if you leverage metaphysical principles, so like Einstein,
Yeah.
about a not Newtonian space time, like if I get in my car and drive home now, it's going to take me so much time to get from here to home. That's Newtonian laws. But Einstein's laws are metaphysical, and it's frequency. We're all energy. This desk is energy.
Yeah.
That microphone, that bottle,
Yeah.
all the kit you,
Yeah.
memory. We're all, even our body, even a dead body vibrates.
Yeah.
It's energy. So if, like Einstein says, he just summarizes it in one quote that whatever you want in life, everything is energy. So match the frequency of your reality, and there's only one result. But that is work. That is hard work. It's a little bit woohoo, and a lot of people, but I coach around that because whether you're in business, relationships, or in your personal life, if you could take yourself offline, and what I mean by that is not just doing of things, is being a human being and manifesting, meditating, acts of mindfulness, visualization.
Yeah.
Then you can bake your results here ahead of them happening.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, come on."
No, I.
Deal with that. But if it happened in my life,
Yeah.
and I wash my mind with that every day, I got a mind movie process where I look at my future.
Yeah.
I program myself for that, and
Yeah.
you know, you're quite often seeing yourself moving those slides out
Yeah.
because you've achieved on that, because you're giving your brain context.
Yeah.
It's a survival device,
Definitely. Yeah.
and if you can give it that context, it knows what it wants with the why and the what.
Yeah.
Look at it as what you're going toward, and you know, you can show up in the physical world and do it, but it'll take time. But sometimes you can close your eyes and you can see what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
when
really
you bring it
interesting.
home.
But I'm guessing you
Really
haven't got
love
all the answers. You just kind of guide somebody on a journey, is it?
Well, it depends. When you say answers, define an answer. I mean, typically, you know, what I tend to see in clients is they want to be happy and they want to be healthy. So for that is, you know, what is happiness, and it's again, it's not outside reality. What we're led to believe. Indeed, it's not. It's an inner game, but we're not taught inner mastery. So I coach around that.
Amazing.
What is happiness? Joy is outside. Something can light you out. Like we are joyous here right now.
Yeah.
We're doing something great. We're giving back. We're sowing that seed.
Yeah.
But happiness,
It's,
again, ties into your beliefs, rules, and that's within, that's not out there.
Yeah.
And that's taking yourself offline and actually finding out and connecting with you. Us men need to be on our own.
Yeah.
And there's that Jay Shetty study that was done, and it's like something crazy about, I think it was a study done on men and women, and it was either sit alone with their thoughts or have an electric shock.
Yeah.
And women did the sit alone time, but
Yeah.
I think it was like 67% of men opted for the electric shock. They
Yeah.
didn't want to sit alone. So
Mental, isn't it? You got all you got to do is sit and process your thoughts. That's it.
Yeah.
And
Or
you
get
just can't,
electric
and you can't choose. Yeah, you can't agree to do that. That's wild. Yeah. Super
and
interesting.
it is, but we got our system. You know, no one's to blame you. It's not you know, finger pointing exercise, but it's,
No, it's-
what I like to see it as is there's no limits here. If you what you believe, you perceive, that's your reality. So whatever you've got going on here, life is a mirror.
Yeah,
So whatever
that's
your
what
beliefs, your rules, what you think, you know, even what we earn in terms of a salary,
Yeah.
that's baked into you. We got a thermostat.
Yeah.
And unless you're willing to take that thermostat up, you'll always get back
Default
what it
to-
is, that mirror, what it is that your internal reality is what you're seeing in your life movie.
Yeah. Super interesting.
Again, that comes back to visualization, I guess. And a lot of what you're saying is you visualize a lot, especially about your future and everything like that. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, well, it's an NLP linguistic programming, so it's an NLP aspect that has imagery. So, you know, if you're doing a presentation or a speech, or you've got something that really, you know, it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Then you can go to that event before you're doing physical
do it
reality.
here first.
Yeah, you're rehearsing. Mental rehearsal is another word for it. So you actually see yourself there, get all the sensory information, see who you're with, what is it, you know, how are you presenting, what does it smell like,
Yeah.
and get as clear as you can. And that can take the pressure away from our situation. So when you turn up in reality to deliver that presentation,
Yeah.
your brain calms down. There's no stress response.
It's
It's
done it
been there
before.
before.
Yeah, you've literally been there before and you know what's going to happen.
Indeed. And you know, all the industry leaders, all the high achievers, all, you know, they've all done this stuff because it's mechanics. 20% of life is mechanics and 80% is psychology. And I like to think all this is in the So visualization
Yeah.
is massive, and that when I take myself back to that 2019 year, you know, for me certainly with being health anxious was I'm going to be 95 swimming in the Mediterranean Sea with my girls, my grandkids, and even my great grandkids.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm going to arrive in style, and that's my mantra, and that's going to be
I love that.
what it is I'm cooking up and baking. And I mean,
Love that.
you know. So yeah, visualization, manifestation. You know, there's different laws of attraction, but it's all interlinks and overlaps. In that, you know, you've got to be clear. It's no point sitting on a train and just say, "Take me there,"
Yeah.
or going to a restaurant and just saying, "I want food." You've got to say, "Well, actually, I want this."
Yeah.
What comes?
Yeah.
You have it delivered. There's a time delay, but if you can be clear and give your brain context about what to do, you know, we've got our focus. I coach around focus, reticular activating system in our brain. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever had that. If you've wanted a car, wanted a shirt,
Yeah.
and you've really
everywhere,
wanted it,
Yeah.
you once you've got it,
Yeah.
you see it everywhere. It's because your brain's lighting up. You're
Yeah.
giving your brain that code, that software to say that's what I want.
That's it.
This is why I want it, and it's just
Plays out.
alluding to that. So,
Yeah.
and if you can just do a 2-degree shift in, instead of focusing what you don't want, what you can't control, what's
Yeah.
gone wrong today.
Forget
I was having a
about
conversation last week. It's a beautiful week today. I was walking last week, and I was just saying, you know, to even people in my village, "Oh, look at the weather. It's amazing." Yeah, but rain's coming in Thursday.
Don't worry about tomorrow.
It's conditioned response. It's again, it goes
Sorry.
back to that program. So really, without digressing too much here, but I mean, when you say health coach, life coaching, like I said, I work with clients, and it's nice to do the systems and do the, you know, the mechanics around nutrition, rest, sleep, recovery, training, which you'll get a result, but then you'll start to go home emotionally. We've all got an emotional home, and you'll find that you'll just call back because your brain or your ego, whatever it is, your program, or whatever you want to call it, it'll want that comfort
Okay.
piece. So it'll always call you back.
Yeah.
Unless you can move home or upgrade, which is what I'm passionate about,
Yeah.
is burning the boats, not go back. There's no way back.
Yeah. Love that.
I just want to pick up on something there. Negativity. So I'm quite a negative person. Where you said, "Sunny out, yeah, but rain's coming tomorrow." Yeah, I am. So if I'm watching our YouTube channel, we got 90 comments, all positive. That one comment, one negative
Yes.
comment will beat me up.
Can't.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm guessing that's a way of life. A lot of people are the same. But what kind of things can we do to spin that?
Well, the thing is, first of all, you've got, you know, again, when I talk around user manuals, you know, have we got a user manual? I mean, if you haven't, you can bake one up. You can create one, because the brain is a survival device. It's designed to look for what's wrong and keep you safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not 2.5 million year old now. It's, you know, we're not back in primitive times with a lion or tiger
have
might
to
come
run,
around the corner.
literally.
We've got
Yeah.
to, you know, either freeze, flee, or, you know, fight the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we can just get that system, that chemical download, those stress and adrenaline chemicals and cortisol flooding our system now
Yeah.
with just a thought, a text,
Yeah.
in traffic. So really understanding that the brain is doing its job no matter what, and it's designed to look for what's wrong. So when you look at comments and reviews, you're right, you will honeypot. It's not, you know, and that goes for life.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could have, and there's certain celebrities right now, and I mean, they've done 2-3 decades in industries. They've served up so much work. They do one thing wrong, and that's what they're remembered for.
Yeah.
But that's societal norm.
always the
That's
way, yeah.
indeed. But I think the brain will latch on to
Yeah.
what it is we can do to keep you safe. So that negative comment, your brain will just focus on that.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, it's a primitive brain. It wants
How do you not do that?
Yeah.
Like my brain goes to, if you like, can you not focus on the positives and then not focus on? Can you almost sit at like a neutral level and be like, "Oh, there's some positive comments, oh, there's some negatives," and just take them all with a pinch of salt and not have to like
The way
I don't know,
do
think
it,
deep into them.
literally going, look, kind of like, what's the percentage there?
Yeah.
Like, I'm more positive than the negative.
Yeah.
Move on type of thing. Ignore that.
Yeah, yeah.
That side. But in the back of my head is still.
But at the same time, if you have, sorry, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit, but like, say you have an opinion that lots of people don't agree with for whatever the reason, but that's internal to you, yeah, then you might have a whole bunch of negative comments. You might only have 2 or 3, and then that could skew how you feel and think about things.
Agreed.
I don't know, I'm just
But
talking out loud.
there is, guys, and again, it goes back to program. Because if you run
Yeah.
a program, and like you say, you come from school where if you was picked on to read in a class setting out loud and you messed the word up, you'd be poked
You
fun
feel like
at,
shit,
you'd be-
yeah.
So the society, and that's just a granular, you know, and a sort of example there. But I think that programming piece, that psychology,
Okay.
celebrate every outcome.
Everything. Good,
There
bad,
is
all
no
other
good, bad,
ways.
right or wrong. And I mean, if you can condition yourself into that mindset, which is this is why it's hard to get that change, because people won't do this work. They'd rather go to the gym and squat 200 kilos.
Yeah.
They think that's going to get them the result. But again, you don't squat because you know you're doing the gym because you want to have the body in order to be confident. It's confidence you have.
Yeah, yeah,
So do you have to kill yourself on the way? But anyway, I think it's nothing's personal as well.
yeah.
And I think, you know, if you can just start to do the work on all that, and there's a third one, that if you're getting negative comments, you've made it.
Yeah, you are right there, yeah.
Because you've got traction.
Yeah.
And if you can start to label it with that, if you've got people, you know, with you know, contradictory thoughts, you're doing good things.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
it's not a
interesting.
bad thing.
Yeah, very much so.
Agreed. I think the other thing you've been speaking about quite a lot is beliefs. I'm guessing you've got a set core beliefs of you,
Values.
and values.
Yeah, they different. It's one of the things I double down on early on in a coaching relationship. Really is understanding who I'm working with, because it's not again with Feral, it's not putting people in a box. It's not saying, look, work out this time, eat this, weigh this, how much macros you nailing down on. This is education. It's a learning center that I've created. You do your work, find out what works for you, because we intellectualize a lot of stuff. Like a smoker knows they shouldn't smoke. They intellectualize it, and you know, even in terms of embodiment of that, they might know, yeah, likely it is I'll get cancer in 20 years, but I'm still a smoker.
Why
They
doesn't
haven't
that-
had an identity shift.
Yeah, why doesn't that affect change?
Because it's identity. Because identity is, that's who I am.
Okay.
Like I haven't drunk this summer, and I've only counted because someone asked me recently. I haven't drunk alcohol, and it's 2 years in August, because I dived in a 1 year challenge with a couple of mates.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many days I've done.
Yeah.
But if you count them,
Yeah.
you're still a drinker.
Yeah, yeah.
If you count how many I give up smoking, I'm 40 days in now. Well, you're going back.
Yeah.
And that's the harsh reality,
That's
because
interesting.
you haven't changed your identity.
Yeah, okay.
I am who I am. Like, I got my training wheels, I got what I do, morning rituals, routines throughout the day, my structure.
Yeah.
Because it's who I am. I'm not trying anymore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just flows. It's because it's me. But you're right, in terms of,
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you're still a drinker if you're counting the days.
Yeah.
absolutely, it's your identity. You're gonna, but what society is now is that we all think that we can only just have one identity, and I struggle for this in my transformation in corporate landscape and in these worlds.
Yeah.
Over to coaching, 'cause I was like, ooh, I got to show up with a certain demeanour. I got to have a shirt and tie. I got to speak a certain way.
Yeah.
I got to
That's
go
really
to these events. Yeah, I'm swimming in rivers.
Yeah.
I'm doing Wim Hof breathing.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
meditating. I'm bringing my future, and I'm like, come on, this is the opposite end of the
Two
spectrum.
different, yeah.
But then when I looked, I mean, you can have multiple, and that's the definition of identities. It's masks.
Yeah.
If you look at the Latin definition of identity, so it's getting familiar, and if you don't like that mask, take it off.
Change it,
Or
yeah.
cape is another analogy. So
Yeah.
you can change it, but that's why lasting change is identity. Otherwise, if you just intellectualize things,
Yeah.
or you just embody it, you know it, and you can feel it.
Temporary, yeah.
Again, and it's leveraging the pain pleasure balance, because your brain will always want to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So it'll always look to avoid pain rather than seek or gain pleasure.
Okay.
Usually.
That's a deep
But whatever emotion is intense here right now,
Yeah.
like the chocolate cake, I'm gonna rather have the pleasure of eating that
Short-term.
right now than putting on weight in 6 months.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's that scale, and if you can leverage that in life,
Yeah.
and when I talked earlier about metaphorically caving your walls in and getting that leverage for change, then I coach around the pain pleasure dance as well, because like I say, unless it's you at your core, then you're going to be trying, and it's going to be hard work.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's going to be
It's interesting.
It's going to be hard. But beliefs and values are two different things. Beliefs are, like you say, either limiting or they're empowering.
Okay.
Or limitless, and
Yeah.
that means you've got this cog turning inside of you.
Yeah.
That, money is hard to make.
Yeah.
I can't find love.
Yeah.
And they hypnotize you. In psychology, they call it a scotoma. That you tell yourself your story, or yourself a story long enough, you'll believe it.
Yeah, makes
that's why I'm
sense.
big on incantations. All my clients will do incantations.
Okay, what's that?
And they'll do a couple of hundred a day. Well, affirmations is you say a phrase, so like,
Yeah.
I am powerful, I am strong, I am a leader, I am unstoppable.
Makes sense.
That's great. But if you just sit there,
Yeah.
and just, you've got, since you left the room, this program that has been built up. And if you're telling yourself you're strong, but it's not who you are, your
Yeah.
brain is bullshit.
Yeah, it's two.
But an
two voices.
incantation is a step above. Is that you actually look at yourself in the mirror, because we can all lie to each other.
Yeah.
You can't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
You
Just
look
you.
at yourself in the
Just you,
mirror and say, I am powerful. At first, your brain will call you out on it.
Yeah.
You're talking shit.
Indeed. Until you can be congruent.
Yeah.
And you use your body in a certain way. So you're doing two things there. Then you're creating a significant emotional event. And again, NLP part of this is that you're having that sensory download.
Okay.
So that you're programming your subconscious. So you're creating a new program.
Okay.
And you're rewiring your nervous system.
Yeah.
So affirmations, you're sitting there and you can either have something playing out or say it yourself.
Yeah.
But incantation, you stand up, look in the mirror, and you use your body and you go all in.
That's
and
interesting.
You do it over 5 different areas, whether it's whatever area, and it's individualized.
Yeah.
It's not just, well, I want you to say these, it's got to come from you.
You need to make those.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And then you say it in the morning when you're in theta brainwaves, because we move through brainwave states, and you're highly suggestible and programmable early in the morning because you're in theta brainwave.
That's interesting.
Because if you're in beta brainwave, you're analytical. You're
Okay.
like, no, you're not strong.
So then you challenge yourself.
Absolutely. We're in beta brainwave right here, right
Yeah,
now, because
yeah.
we're presenting, we're teaching, we're talking.
Yeah, it's just ideas.
We're in beta. We can answer a question.
Okay.
In theta, you just receive.
It's just
It's
you.
what you enter that brainwave state in meditation.
Super interesting.
It's you then, and that's the gateway to the subconscious mind, and you
Yeah.
learn that when you sleep. So you can leverage that. So my clients do that in the morning, within that, the first 10, 20 minutes of waking up,
Okay.
so you can program yourself.
Yeah.
Then meditation to raise your vibration, middle of the day and in the evening, because you've got a gateway again
Okay.
before you wind down. So be careful about watching Netflix, horror films, all the stuff you don't want, because that's what's going in there, the
Yeah, that's
media, the
interesting.
scaremongering.
Yeah.
And you sleep on that, because what you're doing is you're giving your subconscious
Yeah. Just
a
like,
problem
think
to come up
about
with a solution. So in the morning when you feel icky and you feel off, it's because
Last night's
your day
shit. Yeah.
and your bedtime hygiene before bed,
That's
and you get up in the morning, you're full of cortisol, you haven't slept well, your melatonin's been low all night, you
Yeah.
haven't had any repair restorative process, your heart rate is high, your heart
Yeah.
rate variability is shocking, and people live decades like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. In fact, you put it up, I think, on your story once about like the unnatural light and staring at your phone screens late at night and things, and how that affects your sleep. And I remember seeing that and thinking, right, 8, 9 o'clock now, once I'm done with messages and whatever else I want to do, my phone goes on the table on the desk, and then I don't touch it until the alarm goes off in the morning. And that was
good
it was really powerful for me. Yeah,
It's that skill, because like
Yeah.
you said,
I can't do it.
No.
And you can act that because you can get the blue light blocking glasses or the amber lenses. I got them because I got a family. You're going to watch TV.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing something. It's
Yeah.
not about going to a cave and just practicing visualization.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
out your limiting beliefs. It's living as well.
Yeah.
It's leveraging that. But you're right, because the temperature of LEDs,
Mm-hmm.
they're akin, they're like 5,000 on the Kelvin temperature scale.
Right.
So that's the sun at midday. So basically, you're telling your eyes
Staring at the
it's
sun.
midday. So melatonin, which is the master sleep, it's a sleep hormone. A lot of people say melatonin is a sleep hormone, but it's actually a gatekeeper for health.
Okay.
It's an anti-cancer. It's the gatekeeper.
Yeah.
So you don't want that being suppressed.
Yeah.
So switching that and adhering to that at different times of the year, depending on where you live as well. Like right now, we're moving into spring and summer.
Yeah,
You can
like-
get away with it a bit later, but when sun sets, protect that,
Yeah.
because we're all on iPads, LED, lit screens, and we just plug in ourselves or our circadian rhythms. That it's midday.
Yeah.
It's not. It's going to want to eat
confuse
then.
yourself, surely.
Or it's going to want to eat because
Yeah.
it's like it's midday. Where's our
Fucks
food?
up your
Is that
nutrition
why
and
I eat
everything.
9 o'clock at night?
It's cogs. It could very well be. It could be.
Fat.
It
Bullshit me now,
It
but
could be a little bit of that. It's not nothing to be scared of. But no, that's why then, because your circadian rhythm, which governs all systems, all
whack.
hormones in the body, you put it out to skew, and yeah, we don't do ourselves justice in that with something simple as
Very
well.
interesting. Yeah, very
So
interesting.
one step on then, sleep. How important is sleep in
Well,
general?
We're the only animal that tries to get away with as little sleep as possible.
Yeah.
Any animal you look in nature will sleep in accordance. It'll
often as
hibernate. It'll take itself away. It'll sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So sleep, is because we wear productivity as a badge of honor now. We trust with human doings.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Because we're still in order to get validation or that feeling or money or whatever, we've got to be doing
Yeah.
and flagging ourselves. So
That's interesting.
but really, sleep is huge because, there is massive restorative processes undergoing. Not only just, for the psychology and the subconscious programming and coming up with solutions to things and creating what it is you want and manifest what you want, but deep sleep, it repairs the physical body. So, where we are right now, people are, chronically training and chronically working and just got complete, do mentality. And then they expect their system to just wind down and repair overnight.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, because because so deep is for the body, and then REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement, is dream-like states.
Yeah, that's super deep. Not.
It's mental repair.
Okay.
So you repair everything in terms
interesting.
of cognitive processes. Sometimes you feel a little off in the morning. It might be that your REM sleep, which is the latter part of sleep.
Yeah.
It's usually between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Okay.
Is when you get that most section of REM sleep. You get it in the latter part of sleep. So really, deep and REM sleep and managing your periods of awake. I got the Aura Ring, which is
Oh yeah, I've heard about those.
yeah, it's a biofeedback. Don't become too hooked up on it, but it
Yeah.
is biofeedback, so it's digitalized and it'll
Yeah.
tell you anything from my respiratory rate, my
Yeah.
breath, my breathing, skin temperature,
Yeah.
resting heart rate, which is a key marker for
Yeah.
health and longevity, as well as HRV, which is your beats between heartbeats.
Okay.
Not your beats, it's the gap between
The
heartbeats.
space, the emptiness.
Indeed, so that you want that as high as you can. So it's not just head on a pillow.
Yeah.
So many processes,
Yeah.
and there's sleep expert out there that if you don't sleep, then there's only one road that you're going to be going down.
Yeah.
So it's the best health insurance policy out there.
Yeah,
It's free.
I think
Everybody
I've
loves it.
I might have said this before on a podcast, but you can go longer without food and water than you can without sleep, and it'll kill you.
Bonkers, that is.
Yeah,
Indeed. Yeah. A night of poor sleep on a blood draw the following morning, you're pre-diabetic. In terms of your blood work, your chemistry is so skewed
it's wild.
that you can, and akin to drunk drivers as well.
Yeah,
So it is. You're right. We're the only animal that abuses sleep. So yeah, to answer your
So I'm guessing sleep. You could probably do one night of shitty sleep, but is it like 2, 3, 4 nights? It all adds up. Then is it?
It does. Sleep debts exist. It's like a bank account.
Yeah.
yeah,
You've got to repay that debt.
Yeah.
But don't be afraid to nap. I coach her on that as well in terms of the guys. If they
Have a nap.
yeah.
if they
And never
like
nap
siestas,
and
there's
shit like that.
cultures and
Yeah.
traditions around the
Yeah.
world. They have it, all right, just because we think it's hot, so they get down in midday. There's a part of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're onto something. Those blue zones, those regions of the world where they live longer and
yeah,
healthier.
yeah. The meds.
They
and
get
stuff,
it head
yeah.
down. They're not worried about profit and loss and budgets
Yeah.
and spreadsheets.
Yeah,
they take
yeah.
there's a part of that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, massively.
But taking yourself offline and you can calibrate sort of potassium and sodium in the brain, so you can get that sneaky. You can claw a little bit back there.
Yeah.
But if you're not a napper, some people will skew their sleep the following night.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much of an issue. It's over-egged.
Yeah.
But you can strategically nap. But yeah, sleep debts will exist. So I advocate the importance of
Yeah, because I'm guessing you are going to have a shitty night's sleep every now and then.
Yeah, of course.
And that happens, yeah. Might be a busy day coming up tomorrow and you're stressing about tomorrow.
Wonder, can you oversleep? Wonder if that's a thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, indeed.
Like-
There's 7 to 9 is the touted for an healthy adult. 7 to
Yeah.
9, but there's a certain percentage of the population get away on 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Dad's like that.
I'm a 6-hour sleeper.
Some people will feel worse.
Right, I
There was a
feel
guy I was
fucked.
speaking to Friday that felt worse because he's sleeping long and he gets up, he just doesn't want to do anything. He got to drive. So
Yeah.
If I have 8 hours, I feel hungover the next day.
Do?
Like, and yes, I've done it since I've been a bailiff.
Yeah, yeah.
6 years.
Yeah, you're always really early. Like,
I'm getting up at 4 in the morning.
yeah.
So I don't really like to go to bed or sleep before 11 o'clock. So
Don't know. Jesus Christ. I like the early mornings, but I'm so shit if I'm in bed. If I pass 10 o'clock going to bed, I'm whacked. I'm just done for.
yeah, it's chronotype. So you
Yeah.
need a night owl or morning lark,
Yeah.
they say, and you can train that though.
Yeah.
But we all genetically
Having it. And
we're either one or the other.
Yeah.
But you can train it. But yeah, you can oversleep and things like that. But let's not forget, as men as well, with testosterone, certainly after you reach age 30 and 40 where it declines.
Yeah.
You want that high for as long as you can, because nature is saying once you've reproduced and you've got the young, it wants you out of the way. That's aging.
Yeah, yeah.
So to combat that and act that, 'cause there's a little bit of biohacking into what I coach around as well.
Yeah.
You want testosterone high, and our society now our testosterone is tanked because of the chronic stress levels. And that importance of deep and REM recalibrates, because morning wood in the morning.
Yeah.
If you haven't had that, then creating testosterone is a simple a sort of a benchmark or
Yeah, something's not right there then.
It's interesting.
yeah. So sleep, yeah, absolutely.
How about moving on a little bit? Physical fitness.
Yes.
How much of an impact does that have on your mental fitness as well?
I got to be honest, a lot of people, because obviously you get a flood of endorphins and you get all the feel-good chemicals after the workout. It's great. I think, look, we are human beings. We're built the way we are.
Yeah.
Skeletal structure, our muscular structure, because we can move. We've got the ability. This is an unbelievable vehicle.
Yeah.
So use it. Every day you've got to have some sort of movement. But I think there's a point of diminishing returns, like a bell curve, because too much of a good thing doesn't make it better.
Yeah,
And that's what I see is that we chronically train. So to be honest, use myself as an example. I mean, I'm not as heavy as I was when I was like playing rugby and even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But because of my nutrition, the way I sleep now, rest, I'm lean, and I haven't run over 100 yards for about 4 years. And I'm probably in better body composition now because of that.
Yeah.
Because of my learnings and
Yeah.
my obsession around all that. So I think it's super important. We've got to move. We've got to train. Resistance training, for starving off like osteoporosis, sarcopenia, and all the muscle wasting and bone degenerative diseases that come with age.
Yeah.
But I think I've always been like this all my life. Is I like to get away with the least amount as possible. I like that. If you can ask any of the rugby boys,
Yeah.
I'll always be the lazy one in
Yeah,
training and
yeah.
games, do the least I can
Yeah.
to get the maximum rewards, and that's what I coach on now, because
Yeah.
you can get fitness
Yeah.
in minimal time.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I think one little thing, and you spoke about it earlier, about people like not wanting to go to the gym because they think people are watching them.
Yes.
Does anybody really care what you're doing when you go to the gym? Because when I go to the gym, I'm not really watching what Josh does.
I'm too fucked to know.
Exactly.
I'm just too busy, just like flat out doing something that. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people just won't do it because they're worried what other people are thinking. And ultimately, does that really matter?
Well, it if you're going through that, then it matters to you, because
Yeah, of
it's
course it does,
obviously
yeah.
a big thing, because you're
Yeah.
putting that psychological stress on you, and that trauma ultimately. So it's not great.
No.
But I mean, someone going through that, that's not great. But I think, speaking about that, first of all, can take the energy out of it. Yeah, because you're right. Like we said earlier, no one gives a shit what you're doing.
In
Yeah.
reality, literally, if I'm watching you, it means I'm not working hard enough.
Indeed, and I like that.
Yeah.
You're right, and I really don't. But like you said, it's not the lion chasing us now.
Yeah.
We've just got to run and hide. It's the psychological stress, because stress is a resource. Stress is beautiful. It's it's
it's
clobbered. You
required.
need to get rid of cortisol, adrenaline. I switch on stress and adrenaline every day, because
Yeah.
I do my super cold dunk, my ice bath every
Yeah,
morning.
I've seen that,
I do
yeah.
my super hyperventilation breathing, because I wanna hike, because it in turn the norepinephrine and adrenaline will upregulate my immune system. So I
Right.
want to give it that shunt every day
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
kick, but it's controlled. It's a container.
Creating stress effectively to
Indeed, it's
let your body.
absolutely. It's eustress versus distress. Distress breaks you down.
Right.
Eustress, the Greek prefix, is good stress.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a difference. But again, we're all, the way that our hypnotic states are, and robotic, in the way we do and be in modern days, I think there's a mismatch, because we're just, we're a little bit off, should we say?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not about necessarily tweaking and changing. Sometimes it's just eliminating. If anything, my model is about learning but deconstructing, simplifying. Designate, eliminate, and simplify.
Yeah,
Because that's what it's about. Once you
Change a
know your
lot.
stuff,
Yeah.
I eat twice a day now.
yeah.
I don't have to worry about.
Do you really?
Yeah, I don't need to snack now, because through the way I've shifted my metabolism is I burn fat. So I don't need that sugar refeed and the glucose and the snacking, because I've opened up, and we've all got it, by the way, but through the overconsumption of carbohydrate, and not vilifying carbohydrate, I'm a big carb,
Yeah.
but strategically using carbs
Right.
at times a day as well,
Yeah.
to help with sleep, because it's a precursor
Yeah,
to sleep hormones.
Yeah.
So using an easy digestible starches and things like that, and raw honey. So
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot,
Yeah,
but I don't weigh and measure and that. But I
Yeah.
mean, that allows me
yeah,
to fat burn. So I can, wake up in the morning. Sometimes I'll have like a butter coffee and things like that, but it's fat.
Yeah.
It'll turn off a fast
Yeah.
and gut rest. But I'm good sometimes till midday.
Yeah.
And I simplify my eating. And like, for businessmen that I coach, it's like, that is a stone in your shoe, because if you're eating out of that paper box or wrap, you've got your seed oils, you've got your hidden nasties in it, the ingredients list is chunky, the carbohydrate is sky high.
Yeah.
You've got insulin, which is basically your pancreas secretes insulin. It's a hormone that takes glucose out of the blood, puts it
Yeah.
into fat cells.
yeah,
And you don't want to be playing with that. That glucose fluctuation, that glycemic variability, that has been linked to poorer health outcomes.
Yeah.
So the more stabilised you can keep that, and not peak and trough. And it's not just food that does that, training does that.
right.
Psychological stress can do that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
But it's, I'm going to look at that metric and see
Yeah.
where that comes up for you, because it can, and not only that, to answer your question short, it's an interlinkage with, because the brain and body is one.
Yeah, of course.
Again, our westernized society and culture is, we've got to treat them. We're all very good at brawn, we're all very good at the body.
Yeah.
But we forget the brain, and I can't leave it behind.
No, yeah,
It's
yeah.
one, train them both.
Yeah,
Different
very much so.
destination for you.
Before we finish off, and I don't want you to give too much away, because I still want people to come to you. Can you give 3 tips on how to live a better life, or how to hit your goals?
I think something that can
Take away from
positively, affect your mental.
Yes.
I don't want to call it struggles, but your mental strength, like improve your mental strength, something to improve your mental strength, and maybe
I
2
guess
others
you've got
that.
certain things you go to.
Yeah, I like to call it thrive, and anyone who comes to me, look, I'm passionate about helping anyone. I'm strategic about who I coach, because obviously you've got to like me. We've got to have that connection. It's got to work. 'Cause it's a journey. It's, I work 6-12 months with people now. But I think, to be honest with you, is first of all, feed your mind.
Okay.
Because you've got to direct your life. You've got to be the creator and the director of your life. Because if you are not doing the work there and being disciplined around that, somebody else or something else is.
Yeah, somebody will.
We could constantly being anchored in the moment, conditioned, whether media, social media, and we're taking that in. Our brain's a super engine, and it's processing that. It's so clever. Like you talk about Apple and iOS and all the tech. Our brain has never had an upgrade.
Yeah.
But so feed your mind is be careful with your news feeds, who it is you want to spend time with, even because doing one great tool I will always take with me is an energy audit. Who saps you, who energizes you, and that is people, places, things, habits, and thoughts. Do that exercise, and you can reveal a pattern for you. So feed your mind and lean into what's not working for me. What am I reading? Read every day. Program this. So I think making sure that you're standing guard at the door of the mind and you're not letting anything in, because that will ultimately become your reality. So first thing, and I know it's a little bit out there topic, but I would structure and talk about strategy is standing guard of what you're letting in every day, because
some the shit in.
because you take on other people's stuff, and it's great. Look, I'd speak to anyone with a problem. I mean, I'm not a fixer. No. Sometimes people are not broke. But you can just see, you can give insight as a coach. What you sometimes do is see things they can't see.
Just
and that can
perspective.
Change someone's life. So I think be careful of what you're putting in your mind, because it's a super engine, and it will only, like, I like to look, it's not the SEO search engine optimization. You type in Google, you check it in, and it'll bring out the most popular. That's what your brain is doing. So the questions you are asking is churning out an answer. So it's not so much just your media, social media, your news, who you're speaking to take that information in, is also your internal talk as well. And, be careful about what you put after I am. In terms of inner vocabulary, self-talk is shocking to a lot of people. And it's just plugging yourself. So that all comes under the feeding your mind. So number one would be feed your mind. And then number two is feed the body, because the body and brain and mind are one. And I think, eat whole foods. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole here of whether it's animal-based, whether it's vegetarian. I mean, my own story is that, through just wanting to come up with an answer. But I think we've food, feeding your body, this calorie counting game is so wrong, because it's not about calories, not about digits, it's about hormone optimization. For, like you talk about, nutrition affecting the brain, the metabolism, your endocrine system. It's all interlinked. So feeding yourself with the right food, because we all you talk about calories, we all metabolize. You can't, like, NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. We eat food and then we metabolize it differently. Different foods. If you're eating processed food, you're going to take more energy to process that. So it's there's that, and we are thermogenic beings, so we produce heat. So that has an effect on basal metabolism. You can't, you use like the Fitbit and it says, today you've been, it's gone, guys. You can't take your life like that either.
Is there an element of like taking that with a pinch of salt, or is it that you think that's...
Well, literally. Sea salt.
No,
Any
figuratively.
Salt, to be honest, don't put yourself in a box with it. But I think, to be honest with you, because it's spooky, because when we do deep work on nutrition, I was speaking to a guy Friday actually, and he's eating, because it's not about calorie restriction. I think if you can time restrict and eat all your food between 10 a.m. to 7 p.m, which is an evolution match. It's what our body expects, because it hasn't had an upgrade either. If you can consume your calories there, not only are you giving your system time to wind down, your circadian rhythm, and because your digestion system can switch off, blood goes everywhere, your heart rate lowers, body temperature, so you're getting good sleep. I just think you've got to make sure that that you're not being in a box with it all. But I think the calorie counting game has been blown, and it's not. And I think the guy I was working with last Friday, he's doubled his calories and he's losing weight.
I just gonna say, I've been sort of not counting calories, but like trying to up my calories, because I think I got quite high metabolism. I get through a shit ton of work in a day, and I'm stuffing down 3,500 calories a day, thereabouts, to try and ensure I put on a little bit of weight or maintain weight. I haven't. I'm 2 or 3 weeks in of 3,500 calories a day and still struggling to put on weight. Yeah, 11. Yeah, not all. Yeah, it's not all like pretty good food generally.
Cakes.
No, not like
Minstrels.
every now and then I'll have. I'm not like super picky about it. I'll eat cake if I'm at someone's fucking birthday, but at the same time, I'm trying to eat like good quality, wholesome, nutritious food. But yeah,
And that's great. But like you said, sometimes genetically we do need more.
Yeah.
We're not all the same. Fingerprint stuff. We're
Yeah.
all different. All genetically, we're all different in this
Yeah,
room.
yeah.
But testing your DNA can reveal a biological proofing, which I've done.
Yeah.
To make, but I mean, to answer your question, calories is blown, and it's about every bite of food has got a barcode of information to the body.
Yeah.
And that's key for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And get dialing that in, it completely shift your results.
It's
So
interesting.
feed your mind, feed your body. And the third one is nothing other than having an action plan. And I coach around that. Is interlinking with the what and the why.
yeah,
Of course.
What do you
Big
first thing I
questions.
say to them, what do you want? And it's like,
I don't know.
yeah.
how are you gonna
Ferrari.
how are you getting there?
£1 million.
It's like
Yeah.
go into the restaurant and say, where's my food? Well, what did you order, sir?
Yeah,
You've
exactly.
got to be specific. So having that and why you want it. Why,
Mm-hmm.
it's a great saying, and a man with a strong why can endure anyhow.
Yeah,
And that is true. Don't worry about the how because it's not yours.
Yeah.
That's the universe
deal
will
with.
serve that. If it's you've got a strong what and why,
Yeah.
your roadmap will come out for you. So it's feed the mind, feed the body, and get an action plan. Have something out, and I go far out, go short,
Yeah.
but execute on something. Give your brain context, and then around that is making sure that you're fulfilled along the way and your life's got meaning.
amazing.
Just to finish off, tell me why somebody will come to you.
Somebody will come to me. It's a great question. I'm a lovable, values raw beard, and I get in crazy. To be honest with you, I'd like to think that I'm authentic, right? I just show up. I'm me. I'm on my own. I got no, I got a small team. My wife's involved in my coaching business. She runs the merge side of it. She's passionate about doing what she's bringing to the game. But I mean, I'm me. I've got a story.
Yeah.
I've got an experience,
Yeah,
and I'm a coach who genuinely cares.
yeah, yeah. I think you've got a lot of knowledge as well. It's surprising how much information is like. God, I'm gonna sit back and listen to that because half of it I probably haven't digested properly. But I'm sure there's loads of good bits in there. So
You've said loads of big words.
That's my upgrade. But
No,
let's not forget, guys. I mean, yeah, right. It's knowledge, experience, but obviously it's meeting a client where he or she is and plugging yourself into them and thinking, okay, well, that might be a little bit out there right now. So it's that listening piece because we're all very good at talking now.
Yeah.
Not really listening anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a great skill set to have as a coach. So really, I'd like to think, to be honest, people come to me because I'm raw, I'm authentic, and I genuinely care about transformation, not just a transaction, and arriving you in style because there's no reason why any of us can live till beyond 100 because our bodies are capable of doing that.
yeah, I love that.
I think for me, people will go to you as well. I've known you a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
And every time I speak, you just stood in, and I can tell you were taking everything in.
Yeah,
So you're a great listener. You are. And whenever you speak, you just pick out certain little things that fire my mind.
yeah,
And I think you've said a couple of things tonight, thinking, I'm going to go home and have a look at that.
yeah.
So yeah, that's the reason. And you're approachable. You're a decent guy, but I'll give you that. You're a nice guy.
Half decent. Yeah.
Half decent.
I want one negative review.
One
Based
negative.
on, based on how is it? Because that's what I've made it.
Yeah, pisses me off.
That's that testosterone. But no, thank you guys. That's a nice piece of feedback. But yeah, just be real. There's a lot of fake nonsense out there. So wherever, even if someone's local, wherever they are listening to this, if they're the other side of the UK, just do your due diligence, do your homework, and connect and use intuition because you can't intellectualize this stuff. Just geek out, sit with it, and your gut, your intuition will always give you, and your heart will always give you that answer.
Nice. Yeah.
Love it. Is
Amazing.
there anything else you want to add? Any other words of wisdom?
No, guys, it's just look. The last couple of weeks, you guys have been kind enough to invite me to the cold dips. Yeah, I'm an avid and a right geek on breath work as well, which we haven't really unpacked here. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Because again, keys to the physiological car. We drive the
Is
physical
that
car.
another topic we could have you on?
We could.
Jump on a podcast just to talk about breath work.
We could. I mean, yeah, there was a story around that because pre-pandemic I was going to hopefully become a Wim Hof certified instructor because I could see myself going out because there's a part of my own story in that with looking after the physical body. So, but it just shunned me and it didn't work out. Whether it will, I think it will because I owe justice to that system and the protocol and the method, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But you guys have, you've pulled me in and I like what it's all about again because it's raw, it's real, it's authentic. You guys genuinely care about, you've got that open seat. That's just people just verbalizing.
Yeah.
I always say that if somebody can just say it out loud and say it to their ears instead of their brain,
Yeah.
that can just crush monsters.
Yeah,
it really is. And I mean, so I'm dead passionate. You're local, you're good guys, you're raw, authentic and real. So I just want to say, you guys keep going, keep, you know, with all that and the swims, you're going to do a little, you know, holding seats after.
Yeah.
I'm, you know, willing to do and give back as much as I can in terms of bandwidth. So
Oh, you're really valuable to us, mate. to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah, no, I
we
really
can
appreciate
put the event on, but we can't stand there and talk about the benefits of cold water therapy and things like that.
Yeah.
That's where you come in. So you're really valuable to us, mate. So
happy days, guys. And like you say, yeah, let's just make sure that blossoms and look after people, because it's a crazy old world out there right now.
it's nice of it.
It's not, and just taking, you know, allowing people to dig deep and take back their inner power.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for me, if that can happen, and you can give your life that meaning, then, you know, because life is for thriving, not just for surviving.
Yeah, agree.
From us, mate, keep doing what you're doing. I find you really motivational. I want to go out there and do something positive now.
Happy days.
Probably going to go and eat the cake, but
McDonald's drive.
I'm going to smash the cake down now.
Thank
But
you.
and yeah, you've been brilliant. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate that.
Lovely.
Oh, but before we finish, social media. What are you on social media?
Social media, well, Instagram, Get Feral Coach. I've now started to link that up to Facebook.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm on LinkedIn now, doing a little bit more noise in the marketplace in terms of business leaders, to help give and create results there, and looking after your physical and mental health along the way. So yeah, they're my main handle, guys. To be honest, I'm not that noisy. I just show up when I can, because again, I'm clever enough to maybe cap that monster,
Switch it off every now
really.
and then.
But it's, you know, a lot of people are on them, so if that's your outreach, that's your platform, it can serve a purpose. So yeah, at Get Feral Coach.
Is it a website?
There is, yeah, www.getferal.co.uk. It's a couple of years old. It's going under a little bit of a revamp at the moment, but it's a nice little paw print, and you can find me there.
Yeah, and that's how they get
Buy some merch and things like that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, there's the merch side, which was a passion project in project in lockdown, which went really well. And it's just like you say, yeah, it's just part of the brand. It's a part of the message of escape domestication and just create your own life and come out to that wheel and have your own destiny.
Love it.
So we'll link up underneath the video and all the social media. We'll tag
guys.
you all in there.
Appreciate
So
that.
yeah, hit him up, get on his social media, and
Thanks for coming
on
on.
a journey. Yeah, thank you, mate.
Happy days, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.